That's what happens to get in the movies.
Hi, Chris. My name is Todd Helene.
Todd?
You were nice enough to agree to answer a few questions for me on video so that I could get a better grade on Dr. Cindy Bowman's class. When I'm not taking a class, I'm a coach at a middle school, girls basketball. So I hope you don't mind talking to me for a few minutes. Nice to meet you.
Not at all. Todd, I'm having a little trouble with your voice. Is this part of that witness protection thing you were telling me about?
Yeah.
So you had the operation?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Did you get the expensive one or the cheap one? You got the cheap one, didn't you?
Yeah.
Did they tell you it was reversible?
It's supposed to be.
Well, I got your email, asking me to be a donor, and I'm sorry, man, but no can do. I'm 64. I need them both.
Okay.
So go ahead.
Still have time for my questions.
Absolutely.
Oh, great. Well, that's good. What grades or age groups do you think your books are best suited for, and why?
Well, I think they're probably best suited for high school kids. Some of them do well in middle schools. You can go high school, middle. The problem with writing books for high school kids is that high school kids don't buy books. So I like to think that my books are best suited to rich people. Perfect.
What made you decide to write realistic fiction as opposed to other genres? Were they just more appealing to you, or did you want teens to get something from them?
Actually, I don't care what kids get out of a book. I always hope that they get what they get, and they walk away with it. If it's it's good stuff, if it's bad stuff, what I hope they get is some questions to ask and maybe some different perspectives. So in regard to just what teens get, I think if you sit down and write a book and try to decide what teens are going to get, or any reader's going to get out of it, you're cheating yourself in the story. I write realistic fiction partly because I'm lazy. I don't like to do research, and I know realism out there. I mean, I've worked as a therapist and I worked as a teacher, so my characters are follow the lives of a lot of people I've known.
Great. Well, let's say I'm an old school language arts teacher.
You're an old school language arts teacher.
How could you talk me into using some of your young adult literature instead of the old classics?
Well, I have a weapon. I have a gun, and that would be one way to do it. And to tell you the truth, that's the only way you're going to get a whole lot of high school teachers to use contemporary fiction, as opposed to classics. One of the things I sit down and implore you to understand is that one of the big things about keeping kids reading is connecting them. And I can go through contemporary fiction. I can go through my own books, but I can go through a whole lot of other contemporary fiction, and I can find you book after book after book after book that have wide reading appeal because they connect to the readers and they connect to the kids in the classroom. I can find almost none of that in the real classics, because the reading the classics becomes an intellectual ordeal rather than a connective ordeal to characters and plot. And the reality is you got some kids in school that pick up the classics and they love them, but that's a small minority. And I think as high school teachers and middle school teachers, we're killing kids, making them read classics and not reading contemporary fiction, whether it's my books or somebody else's. But I like it when you buy my books because I get 10%.
Pretty convincing. Yeah. Rigor. It's a key word. So is there a way to make your novels rigorous to students? We already know they're relevant.
I didn't know rigor was a key word. The only term that I know in which I can use rigor is rigor mortis. And the trick is give them boring books and they'll fall asleep and die and have it.
It's one way to look at it. How would you best differentiate a lesson using one of your novels?
That must be an educational term because I don't know what it means. And one of the reasons I write books for teenagers is because neither they nor I know very many big words. So I'm not exactly sure what differentiating a lesson means.
Okay. Now, 2 classics. The 3 most rewarding experiences of my life are...
Yeah? Oh, you mean my life?
I mean your life.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Oh, okay.
The 3 most rewarding experiences of my life.
Your life.
That's a hard question. I'll go kind of professionally. I think probably one of the most rewarding ones as a writer was the first time I got a book published, and the second is probably getting a few of the awards, the intellectual freedom awards, the things that go along with standing up against censorship, and the third and most important one probably is when I got the ankle bracelet off.
Okay, if I could go back to when I was in the classroom, I would. I mean, you would.
Oh, you mean me
you
again?
Would, yeah.
Oh, God, okay. If I could go back to the classroom, well, if I went back to the classroom as a student, I would try to stay awake. There's a whole bunch of things I missed. If I were going to go back into the classroom as a teacher, and I think this is really important, I would know my content area a lot better than I knew it. I was a lot of fun as a teacher, but I was always behind in knowing the really good information to give kids. I would never let myself walk into a classroom without knowing my content area.
Well, thanks, Chris Crutcher. It's sure to give me at least another grade higher, don't you think?
You're not really Todd, are you? Okay, you're Todd.
Nice to meet you, Chris.
Okay, Todd.